The man is the overlord of the end times. Not only has he awakened an extremely rare spatial ability, but he has also awakened a 1 in 10,000 temporal ability. However, as he is about to make a breakthrough, he accidentally comprehends a fusion technique of the two abilities. Yet, he did not feel any joy about it. Instead, he showed a face full of sorrow, because the first time he used the time ability, the rapid consumption almost cost him his life due to accelerated time. To ensure nothing goes wrong, Chenluo immediately called Rice, asking it to predict for him what would happen if he combined them. Rice then jumped onto Chenluo and started sensing. Soon after, it said with a terrified face, "Chenluo, I saw you die on the spot, so you must never try that skill." Hearing this, Chenluo was stunned, muttering to himself, "Is the consumption of this space-time ability so huge? Do I have to wait until I reach level 10 or king level to use this skill?" Thankfully, Rice warned him in time, or he almost killed himself just now. Early the next morning, a member of the intelligence group sent a valuable message, saying they saw a stunning beauty by the seaside, and that she could turn someone into an ice sculpture with just a breath. Upon hearing this, Chenluo rushed to the beach without a word, because he suspected that the woman they mentioned was Congealed Frost. Indeed, it was exactly as he had guessed, but what he didn't expect was, as soon as Congealed Frost saw him, she ran towards the sea as if she had seen a ghost, mumbling to herself, "Why is it this rascal again? Is he here to destroy my shells?" At this moment, the puzzled Chenluo was a bit baffled, thinking to himself, "Do I look that scary? Scaring away a king level expert the moment I show up?" So, she ran and he chased. Just as Congealed Frost was about to jump into the sea, Chenluo instantly used void walking to catch up and grabbed her, saying, "Why are you running when you see me? Do I look like a bad person to you? Don't worry, I have no ill intentions." However, Congealed Frost did not think so. She kept shouting, "You pervert, let go of me now." Hearing this, Chenluo immediately explained that the last time was just a misunderstanding. "You hear me out? No, listen to my explanation. If you don't give me this chance, I can't guarantee if those two small shells of yours will remain intact." Upon hearing this, Congealed Frost instantly transformed back to her original form, and with a loud shout, "You despicable and shameless rogue," she immediately conjured an ice arrow aiming at Chenluo. Then she coldly said, "If you dare to do any filthy things to me again, don't blame me for being ruthless." However, at this moment, a jellyfish suddenly emerged from the sea, blabbering, "Finally found you. I'm here on Poseidon's command to invite you to Poseidon's palace, and let me warn you not to try any tricks. Your dolphin friend is with us." Even though Chenluo couldn't understand what they were saying, he could tell that this jellyfish had reached level 10. He was still missing 2 level 10 crystals. Should he kill it and harvest the crystal? But Congealed Frost was deep in thought. Clearly, this was a trap. Congealed Frost wasn't foolish. Going alone was likely a one-way trip, but the guy in front of her had teleportation abilities, didn't he? Last time, he teleported and saved Sea Princess right under her nose. With this thought, she immediately shouted to Chenluo, "I have a favor to ask. Are you willing to help?" Hearing this, Chenluo was taken aback. He hadn't expected a king-level expert to seek his assistance. Wasn't this the perfect opportunity to build a good relationship with her? He then responded with a grin, "Helping others is my nature. Drawing my sword to assist is my hobby. Whatever you need, just let me know." Upon hearing this, Congealed Frost got straight to the point. "My friend was taken by a great white shark called Poseidon. I want you to accompany me to Poseidon's palace. Can you use your special ability to help me rescue my friend?" Hearing this, Chenluo paused in shock, thinking that any adversary that makes Congealed Frost wary must be a king-level entity. Though the journey would be risky, Chenluo immediately agreed to Congealed Frost's request. "If she can hold off Poseidon, I'll rescue the dolphin and owe her a favor. If she can't even do that, then I can only apologize." Meanwhile, in Poseidon's palace, a walrus was seen fawning, "Lord Poseidon, I knew that you and Congealed Frost never got along, so I took the liberty of capturing her friend, the little dolphin, and sent someone to invite Congealed Frost to the palace." But before it could finish, Octopus Bro suddenly burst out from the water, exclaiming, "Big trouble. The captured dolphin has tried to take its own life. It's on its last breath. What should we do?" Poseidon licked his lips. "Just eat it. It's more convenient." Just at that moment, the dolphin suddenly sent out a psychic message, "Dear Congealed Frost, please don't come to Poseidon's palace to save me. They want to use me as bait to kill you. Goodbye forever." Elsewhere, receiving this message, Congealed Frost suddenly stopped in her tracks. Tears welled up in her eyes as she said, "I just received a farewell message from the little dolphin to keep me from danger. It chose to end its life." Upon saying this, Congealed Frost shouted, "I'll take revenge for my friend. I'll never forgive this monstrous fake Poseidon." Seeing this, Chenluo immediately stepped forward and said, "Don't act on impulse. If you go now, you'll be playing into their hands and betray the little dolphin's good intentions." But at this moment, Congealed Frost's eyes were clouded with rage. No matter what Chenluo said, she wouldn't listen. She was determined to seek revenge on Poseidon. Seeing this, Chenluo didn't indulge her any further. Using spatial exile, he immediately pulled her back, stating, "A gentleman takes his revenge even after 10 years. I've promised to help you, but we need to plan this out." Only then did Congealed Frost start to come back to her senses, promising Chenluo she wouldn't act recklessly. However, at that moment, sensing something was amiss, the jellyfish flash tried to slip away, but it was too late. Qianluo lifted the void sword, coldly saying, "Do you think you can run faster? Or is my void sword faster?" With that, Qianluo cleaved the jellyfish in two with a single stroke. He then solemnly promised congealed frost, "Give me 1 year, and I guarantee we'll work together to eradicate this menace." It wasn't just bravado from Qianluo. With 2 or 3 more king-level crystals, he could reach level 10. By then, his power would be close to the king level. However, congealed frost remained skeptical, replying, "Don't brag here. You're no match for me. What makes you so confident?" Hearing this, Qianluo immediately said, "You don't need to worry about that. Tell me, if I help you get rid of this menace, how will you repay me? After all, we are neither kin nor kindred, and I should get something out of this, right?" Upon hearing this, congealed frost quickly replied, "As long as you truly help me eliminate Poseidon, you can have whatever you want." This made Qianluo extremely happy, and he whispered to himself, "This mermaid has finally taken the bait." He then took congealed frost back to the shore, and instructed her not to seek revenge on Poseidon on her own within the year. Wait for my good news. Afterwards, he returned to the base in high spirits. Seeing his master return, Thunder King immediately ran excitedly towards Qianluo, but to everyone's surprise, as soon as Thunder King opened his mouth, Qianluo was drenched in cold sweat, and shouted, "I must be hallucinating. Did words just come out of a dog's mouth? Everyone come look, Thunder King can speak." However, at that moment, Xiao Hai approached Qianluo, saying, "The information you requested has been gathered. Here are the details of all the superpowered individuals who recently came to Divine Capital. Please take a look, boss." Qianluo glanced over the information and quickly noticed 3 big red characters. Lu Tianzhu. She was someone from his past life who had reached king level with nature powers. Not only did she have excellent planting skills, but she also mastered a powerful transformation technique, allowing her to turn into a firebird or thunder wolf. She was undoubtedly a rare talent. Yet, another superpowered individual's name soon caught Qianluo's attention. Gu Changfeng, a wind-based superpowered individual and a future king-level powerhouse. However, this guy was an ambitious base leader, and recruiting him would not be an easy task. Qianluo decided on the spot to recruit Lu Tianzhu first. After all, this woman didn't have much ambition, and winning her over should be easy. Thinking of this, Qianluo immediately handed the information back to Xiao Hai, saying, "Brother Hai, you can go about your business. I have some matters to attend to." Meanwhile, elsewhere, Gu Changfeng approached Lu Tianzhu. Upon meeting, he proposed they join forces and merge their bases. Unexpectedly, without even a second's consideration, she declined his proposal, saying she had no intention of merging. Hearing this, Gu Changfeng was taken aback, then exclaimed, "Don't tell me you're thinking of joining Dawn City too." Without hiding anything, Lu Tianzhu confirmed his suspicions. "I'm actually planning to approach Leader Chen, and hope he can accept even those of us below the 6th rank into his ranks." This infuriated Gu Changfeng, who muttered to himself, "I humbly asked you to join and you refused, yet you want to kneel and beg someone who has set such high standards. You're really slapping my face." But just then, an alarmed shout echoed from the entrance. "Leader Lu, we're in big trouble. A massive horde of zombies is preparing to attack our base." Seeing an opportunity, Gu Changfeng was elated, thinking to himself, "Isn't this the perfect chance to show off? If I can resolve this crisis for her, she'll surely reconsider and join me." The incoming zombies were led by Big Strong from the Brotherhood Alliance. After Big Strong violently blasted the iron gate open with a single punch, the horde swarmed into the base like locusts. Seeing this, Gu Changfeng immediately took action, declaring, "With me here, you beasts won't advance another step." He then ordered 2 of his subordinates to hold Big Strong back. Fully understanding the principle capture the leader first to defeat the enemy, he prepared to unleash his ultimate move against the lead zombie. However, with just 2 punches, Big Strong sent the 2 underlings straight to the underworld. Fortunately, Gu Changfeng's ultimate move was already underway. With a powerful shout, he summoned a massive tornado aiming directly at Big Strong. To everyone's surprise, Big Strong not only stood firm against the attack, but also mocked, "Is that all you've got?" Seeing this, Lu Tianzhu transformed into a phoenix, releasing a continuous stream of flames from the sky to attack Big Strong, hoping to push him back with long-range attacks. However, in an unexpected move, Big Strong leapt high into the air, grabbed her wings, and violently slammed her to the ground. The scene greatly alarmed Lu Tianzhu, who realized the zombie's strength was at the 8th rank. "Is this where my tragic life ends?" Just as Big Strong was about to finish off Lu Tianzhu with a single blow, another zombie rushed over shouting, "Boss, we're in big trouble. Qianluo from Dawn City is here. We can't mess with him. We need to run." At that moment, a bewildered Lu Tianzhu was utterly confused, thinking to herself, "What on earth? Zombies have bosses too?" What surprised her even more was that these zombies were afraid of someone from Dawn City. Before she could figure out what was happening, the horde of zombies began to scatter and flee in terror. Suddenly, a leg appeared from a vehicle, followed by Qianluo stepping out, saying, "Little girl, are you okay? Do you need any help?" Upon hearing this, Lu Tianzhu was overjoyed, thinking, "Is Qianluo really that powerful?" The zombie leader that neither Gu Changfeng nor I could handle was terrified just hearing his name. Lu Tianzhu instantly became a huge fan of Qianluo. With admiration in her eyes, she said, "Brother Chen, I've been wanting to join you for a while now. Can I team up with you from now on? Although Gu Changfeng was clearly annoyed, he didn't dare to show any disrespect in front of Chenluo because the difference in their power levels was too vast. Chenluo, with a smile, responded, "Since you've asked so sincerely, from now on, you can be with me." Little did Lu Tianzhu know, Chenluo was internally overjoyed, thinking how smooth recruiting her had been. All thanks to that kid, big strong. Then, a slightly embarrassed Lu Tianzhu continued, "I know that Dawn City only recruits members of rank 6 and above, and my people might not qualify, but could you give them a chance? Without me, they'll surely be bullied." Chenluo, with a gentle smile, replied, "While I can't fulfill that specific request, I have an affiliate organization that can accommodate your people and ensure they're not bullied." After addressing Lu Tianzhu's concerns, he swiftly turned his attention to Gu Changfeng, saying, "You must be Gu Changfeng. Don't think I don't know about the spy you planted in Dawn City. Whatever you're plotting isn't my concern, but let me give you a piece of advice today. Before acting, weigh your own strength. Know what you can and cannot do. Use your head." Upon hearing this, Gu Changfeng nearly wet himself in fear. Quickly nodding, he expressed his gratitude for Chenluo's advice. However, Chenluo didn't even give him a second glance and left with Lu Tianzhu. Unable to retaliate, Gu Changfeng muttered to himself, "Chenluo, just you wait. One day, I'll have you beneath my feet." Meanwhile, elsewhere, there was a sudden phenomenon in Dawn City, where daylight swiftly turned to night. When Chenluo rushed back to the base, he was stunned to see a massive black hole in the sky. Looking up, he saw Sea Princess floating in midair, her face contorted in pain. After an initial shock, a look of delight crossed Chenluo's face, realizing that his sister was about to break through to the king level. Having experience in advancing to the king level himself, Chenluo promptly advised Sea Princess, "If you feel the energy is about to burst out of your body, try to gather it together, and then release it with all your might." Without hesitation, Sea Princess conjured a massive dark energy sphere and hurled it towards an open space outside the base. Following a deafening explosion, Chenluo hurriedly congratulated her. "Congratulations on officially entering the king level." But before he could finish, Sea Princess suddenly hugged him by the neck, thanking him for his timely advice, or she might have been torn apart by that immense energy. "Let's go and take revenge on Congealed Frost now." Chenluo, hearing this, broke out in cold sweat, thinking to himself, "I just made peace with Congealed Frost. If my sister goes there with such aggression, won't it ruin my plan?" As he was about to try and dissuade her, Sea Princess suddenly swept him off his feet in a princess carry, saying, "Just rest in my arms. I'll fly us there." The bewildered Chenluo was utterly confused, thinking, "This is bad. I can't stop her now. I must quickly find a way to mediate their conflict." Soon, Sea Princess, flying at incredible speed, reached the seaside. The journey was so turbulent that Chenluo felt dizzy upon landing, but Sea Princess, with her fists clenched in anticipation, was eager to face off with Congealed Frost immediately. Seeing this, the puzzled Chenluo quickly called out to Sea Princess, "Big sis, can we discuss something? When you confront her, just give her a lesson. Don't beat her to a pulp. As for that mermaid, I'm confident I can recruit her to our side." Upon hearing this, Sea Princess immediately declared, "Since my brother likes this mermaid, I'll capture her for you right now." At this moment, Congealed Frost, who was seated on an island, also noticed Sea Princess and thought to herself, "You dare come here. Last time you managed to escape, but this time, let's see if you can pull it off again." Seeing that a confrontation between the two women was inevitable, Chenluo quickly retreated to a safe distance to secretly observe the fight, thinking to himself, "King level versus king level. Someone insignificant like me should stay out of this." Without any hesitation, Sea Princess released her Dark Eye technique against Congealed Frost, hoping to catch her off guard. However, Congealed Frost responded swiftly, interrupting Sea Princess with her Frost Bloom technique. This infuriated Sea Princess, who shouted, "You damn mermaid, watch me beat you so hard today that you'll be searching for your teeth on the ground." She then launched another attack, Darkness Consumes, where a dark energy column, a meter in diameter, shot towards Congealed Frost. Surprisingly, Congealed Frost neither retreated nor dodged. Instead, she countered with her Extreme Cold Solidification technique. The intense battle between them was like a standoff between two fierce opponents. All the while, Chenluo watched from the sidelines, sweating profusely. After 800 rounds, neither had gained the upper hand. Both their powers were drained, leaving them unable to use any more special abilities. However, the fight didn't stop there. It escalated into an even more intense second round of king-level combat. Sea Princess raised her right hand, ready to strike. Congealed Frost, not to be outdone, immediately raised her arm to block the sudden blow, as she smirked with a look of triumph, saying, "Is that all?" Sea Princess unexpectedly slapped her across the face with her left hand. Infuriated, Congealed Frost shouted, "How dare you hit my face? You seafood, I'll end you." Without hesitation, the two entangled in a fierce hand-to-hand combat. Seeing that the situation was getting out of hand, Chenluo rushed forward, grabbing Congealed Frost, and shouted, "Enough, let's talk this through peacefully." Unexpectedly, as Chenluo held onto Congealed Frost, she received another slap from Sea Princess. Seeing this, Congealed Frost shouted at Chenluo, "Let go of me. I'll make this mermaid pay." This made Sea Princess even more furious. She yelled, "How dare you shout at my brother? Let's see if I don't slap you senseless." seconds. Just as Sea Princess was about to slap again, Chenluo quickly turned around to shield congealed frost with his back. However, Sea Princess suddenly halted her motion, thinking, why is my annoying brother protecting this mermaid? Oh, I remember now. He wants to recruit her. I should help him. With that thought, she began to pretend to furiously hit Chenluo while yelling, how dare you protect her? I'll beat you up, you annoying brother. Although she seemed fierce, her blows were light. Chenluo caught on quickly, feigning cries of pain. This tactic seemed to work. Seeing Chenluo so protective made congealed frost grow concerned about his well-being. After this dramatic display, Chenluo pulled out 2 lollipops from his pocket and handed one each to congealed frost and Sea Princess. He said, misunderstandings aside, my sister here is our key ally against Poseidon. Let's talk things out. Congealed frost responded skeptically, your sister is too brutal, even to her own brother. Maybe you should be my brother instead. Chenluo smiled, I only have one sister. How about you become my little sister? After some mediation from Chenluo, the 2 women reconciled. Congealed frost even agreed to become Chenluo's sister. Chenluo then said in a serious tone, Sister Congealed Frost, come back to the base with me. You and my sister can get to know each other's abilities. That way, we can work seamlessly together when we face Poseidon. I estimate in about 3 months, I'll be close to having king-level strength. Then, we can confront Poseidon together. Fast forward 2.5 months, Chenluo finally advanced to level 10. Now, with pseudo-king level strength, he couldn't be easily defeated, even by a king-level opponent's most powerful moves. Afterward, Chenluo immediately asked Rice, with my current strength, what would happen if I used the space-time ability? Without hesitation, Rice began to predict the outcome and informed Chenluo, using that ability now won't kill you, but it would leave you in a vegetative state. Hearing this, Chenluo became pensive, muttering, does this skill have such a high cost? Thankfully, Rice predicted it for me, or I might have been tempted to try it. With that thought, Chenluo instantly teleported outside the window and decided to test his king-level move called the Dimensional Blade. This skill can instantly defeat a king-level opponent and even severely injure those above king level. However, with his current strength, Chenluo could only harness a quarter of its power. Upon activating the Dimensional Blade, he waved his hand, releasing an energy that sliced through a nearby mountain like tofu. The next moment, Chenluo collapsed, exhausted from the effort, murmuring to himself, using that move at my current strength was too taxing. I must avoid using it unless absolutely necessary. Now, I should keep my promise. Tomorrow, I'll go with Sister Congealed Frost to settle our score with Poseidon. Congealed Frost and her group arrived at the seashore, ready to confront the imposter god, Baihao, in Poseidon's palace. After a 2.5-hour journey, Congealed Frost pointed out the beach ahead as the entrance to Poseidon's palace. At that moment, Baihao was leisurely sunbathing on the beach, unaware of the looming danger. Suddenly, Chenluo shouted, all irrelevant creatures, leave immediately. 3 king-level beings are here to confront Baihao. Those who don't wish to die, move aside. At his command, all the sea creatures quickly made way. However, Congealed Frost was intently focused on Baihao, mumbling, why is he wearing that armor? Upon hearing this, Chenluo looked closely and recognized the armor from a past life. It wasn't worn by Baihao, but by a king-level zombie. Chenluo deduced, Baihao must have been killed by that zombie in his previous life, which is why the armor ended up on it. He also remembered that this unique armor would automatically deploy an energy shield when attacked. Thus, until the armor's energy was depleted, they wouldn't be able to inflict any real damage on Baihao. Hearing this, Sea Princess immediately suggested, then we should destroy its armor. Chenluo shook his head in response, saying, doing so would be a waste of such a treasure. If possible, I'd like to take that armor for myself. At that moment, Baihao noticed the intruders in his territory. Without hesitation, he charged at Chenluo and the others. Seeing this, Sea Princess swiftly cast a curse skill at Baihao. However, the gem on Baihao's armor shone with a brilliant white light, absorbing all the curse energy from Sea Princess. Stunned, Sea Princess exclaimed, how is that possible? Meanwhile, Congealed Frost launched her Icy Blossom attack. Not only did it fail to harm Baihao, but it also didn't even scratch his armor's shield. Completely taken aback, she yelled, when did this imposter god become so strong? Before everyone could react, Baihao threw a powerful punch at Chenluo, just 0.1 meters from landing on Chenluo's face. Chenluo quickly activated a skill called Spatial Banishment. The next moment, Baihao's punch hit nothing but air. Before Baihao could react, Chenluo devised a plan. He instructed Jiang Chushue to cast Time Freeze on Poseidon. Although the skill would only last for 3 seconds against a king-level entity, it was enough time for Chenluo to act. Jiang Chushue didn't hesitate and cast Time Freeze on Baihao. As a golden light enveloped him, Baihao found himself unable to move, as if he had been paralyzed. Seizing the opportunity, Chenluo used Void Walking to appear behind Baihao. Without wasting a moment, Chenluo, with the speed honed from being single for 20 years, removed the armor from Baihao in just 2 seconds. Seeing this, Poseidon was left stunned. Just as the time freeze was about to wear off, Chenluo shouted, Spatial Banishment, and Baihao vanished from the spot. Chenluo then gleefully wore the armor and ordered the Sea Turtle King to escort Meili and Jiang Chushue to a nearby island. Anticipating Baihao's Hao's return for revenge. Before departing, Meili cast several buffing spells on the group and reminded everyone to be cautious. 2 hours later, Bai Hao returned, even more furious than before, shouting, "You despicable human, return my divine armor or prepare to face my wrath." Chuckling, Qianluo replied, "Such arrogance. I'd like to see what you're capable of. I'll also test out this armor's abilities." Bai Hao, infuriated, yelled, "Stop acting so arrogant in front of me. Give me back my armor." Qianluo immediately stated there's no way he'd return it, challenging Bai Hao to take it back himself. But before Qianluo could finish his words, Bai Hao mysteriously appeared right in front of him. Bai Hao's massive fist came hurling toward Qianluo. At that moment, Qianluo sensed something was amiss. The opponent had breached the armor's defensive radius, but the protective shield didn't activate. Before he could understand the situation, Bai Hao's powerful punch landed squarely on his face. With a painful scream, Qianluo was sent flying. In shock, he thought, does this armor recognize its owner? Why doesn't it protect me? Seeing the situation, Sea Princess didn't hesitate and blocked Bai Hao's path. She first used a skill to slow down Poseidon's movement and then cast the Dark Eye on him. Congealed Frost also launched her Icy Blossom attack. Although both attacks hit Bai Hao squarely, they didn't even scratch him. Qianluo, watching from behind, was terrified and muttered, "This guy's defense is insanely strong." Bai Hao then mockingly said, "Are you giving me a scratch massage? Ignorant sea creatures, today I'll show you my true power." With that, a terrifying aura emanated from Bai Hao, and a massive golden tornado enveloped him. Before anyone could react, a great white shark, with its jaws wide open, charged at Sea Princess. Sea Princess couldn't escape in time, but thankfully, Congealed Frost quickly used her powerful skill to freeze the shark, saving Sea Princess from a perilous situation. Qianluo immediately instructed Sea Princess to unleash her ultimate move, Dark Devour. Despite its immense power, the skill required a few seconds of casting time. Sea Princess wasn't entirely confident she could hit Bai Hao with it, but she obeyed her brother's instructions regardless. Just as Sea Princess began casting Dark Devour, Qianluo utilized Spatial Banishment, transporting Bai Hao, who was attempting to flee, directly into Sea Princess's attack. Before Poseidon could react, a powerful constricting force instantly overwhelmed him. Following a heart-wrenching scream from Poseidon, the sky echoed with agony. Even though the move was effective, Bai Hao's physical resilience meant Sea Princess had to expend a vast amount of energy to inflict damage. Within just 2 minutes, Sea Princess had exhausted her limits. As her technique dissipated, Bai Hao broke free from her hold. Enraged, he declared, "Mere sea creatures dare oppose a god like me? None of you will leave here alive today." Bai Hao then lunged out of the water, his massive jaw filled with razor-sharp teeth, lunging at the duo. Observing this, Qianluo realized the gravity of the situation. Both Congealed Frost and Sea Princess were too drained to evade. Without hesitation, Qianluo teleported in front of them, grabbing their hands, and used Void Walking to escape. By the time Bai Hao tried to bite, he found only emptiness. Utterly bewildered, Bai Hao wondered, how did my prey escape just like that? Meanwhile, the trio had already reached a location hundreds of miles away. No matter how fast Poseidon was, he couldn't catch up to them. Congealed Frost said dejectedly, "Last time, this pseudo-god wasn't this powerful. Now, even with all three of us combined, we're no match for him. Brother Qianluo, what should we do now?" Qianluo responded, "No rush. Once I advance to the king level, I'll help you take him down." Soon after, they met up with Meili at the shore. On seeing them, Meili immediately asked about the progress. Qianluo shook his head. "It was challenging. Our plan failed. We need to rethink our strategy." Still, it wasn't a total loss. We managed to get Bai Hao's armor, though I don't know why it had no effect on me. Upon hearing this, Meili quickly inquired about the gem on the armor, suggesting, "Qianluo, do you think this gem might be the key to activating the armor?" Upon hearing Meili's words, a realization struck Qianluo. He immediately attempted to channel his powers into the red gem. Sure enough, as the gem absorbed the energy, it responded. With excitement, he said, "Sis, try hitting me with all your might." Without hesitation, Sea Princess threw a punch at him. To her surprise, her fist stopped half a meter from Qianluo, blocked by a purple energy shield that suddenly appeared around him. Before Qianluo could celebrate, he received a telepathic message from Zhao Zi. "Brother Chen, we have a problem. Big Strong just sent out a distress call. A zombie is challenging him for leadership, and they're fighting in an octagonal cage. Big Strong is on the verge of losing. We need your help right now." At that moment, the mutant zombie spoke arrogantly. "You have two choices before you. 1. Accept me as your leader, or 2. I kill you right here and now. Choose quickly. I'm not a patient one." Unbeknownst to him, Qianluo was already hovering above them. Seeing the audacity of the mutant, Qianluo decided he would help Big Strong save face in front of his subordinates. Within a moment, Big Strong received a message from Zhao Zi. "Big Strong, don't panic. Brother Chen is here. He says that if you count to 3, the mutant in front of you will drop dead. Just pose as if you killed it, and it will all play out." Gaining confidence from these words, Big Strong shouted, "You're pretty bold, aren't you? Who gave you the courage to challenge me? Do you believe that if I count to 3, you'll be dead?" This statement left the onlooking zombies in doubt, wondering if Big Strong had become overconfident. It was evident that the mutant had a higher level, and they weren't sure Big Strong could defeat him, let alone in 3 seconds. The mutant smirked and said, "Go on, count to 3. I'd love to see how you think you can kill me." Without any hesitation, Big Strong began counting. At this moment, all the zombies stared at Big Strong as if he was an idiot, eagerly awaiting the moment he'd embarrass himself. To be honest, even Big Strong had doubts. While he knew Brother Chen was powerful, he found it hard to believe he could kill a level 9 mutant without even showing himself. He silently hoped, "Brother, you better not be setting me up. I've put everything on the line this time." As the 3-second countdown ended, Big Strong bellowed, "Die." Simultaneously, Chenluo executed a spatial slice on the mutant. Seeing that the countdown was over, the mutant taunted, "Weren't you saying I'd be dead in 3 seconds? I'm still here." And before he could finish, his head dropped to the ground. Witnessing this, Big Strong immediately began to boast, "A mere firefly daring to compete with the sun and moon? A fool challenging my position as the leader? Who else here dares to defy me? Come at me, all at once if you wish." With that, the entire crowd began chanting their allegiance to Big Strong, swearing to follow him loyally. Having made his point, Big Strong excitedly approached Chenluo, offering him the crystal from the mutant. However, Chenluo declined, generously suggesting that Big Strong keep it for himself. This left Big Strong momentarily stunned, wondering if Brother Chen had had a change of heart, being so unexpectedly kind. But the next moment, Chenluo began to frisk Big Strong, leaving the latter thinking, "This is more like my brother," always suspecting I might be hiding some high-grade crystal. After an unsuccessful search, Chenluo asked Big Strong if he had any valuable information lately. Big Strong quickly reported, "Recently, we discovered a powerful base. They've taken up a business model identical to yours, claiming to solve problems for others. They say that with the right price, they can solve any problem. We're not sure about the level of the base leader, but one of my guys saw him effortlessly kill a level 7 individual." Chenluo smirked, "So what? No one steals my business. Give me the address of that base. I'll go and meet these fools who don't know their place." Upon hearing the situation, Chenluo, accompanied by Su Daju, went to Heavenly Gate to see for themselves. Chenluo muttered to himself, "I want to see who this blind fool is that dares to compete with my Dawn City." As they entered, they were immediately stopped by a security guard. Without hesitation, Chenluo produced a level 10 crystal and said, "I want your boss to help me with a problem. Could you please inform him?" Following this, the security guard courteously invited them into the reception room and mentioned that their leader would be with them shortly. In just 2 minutes, the base's leader rushed in. He began by introducing himself, "I am Chen Tianmen, the boss of this base, and this is Jiang Wei, my right-hand man. How may we assist you today?" Upon hearing this, Chenluo was momentarily taken aback. Although he hadn't heard of Chen Tianmen in his past life, Jiang Wei was a name he recognized, known to be a future king-level powerhouse. Chen Tianmen, eager to proceed, inquired, "I heard you have a level 10 crystal. May I see it?" Upon Chenluo presenting the icy crystal, Chen Tianmen promptly responded, "Name your request, and I'll see it done." Without any delay, Chenluo handed over a piece of paper. Upon reading its contents, Chen Tianmen almost lost control, murmuring, "You must be joking. This is just a math problem." Chenluo replied, "This problem has troubled me for months. I've heard that as long as the price is right, your base can solve any problem. So, please, begin your demonstration." Jiang Wei grabbed the note and exclaimed, "Isn't this one of the 7 greatest unsolved problems in mathematics? To my knowledge, no one has solved it yet." Realizing that Chenluo was intentionally causing trouble, Chen Tianmen coldly said, "Leave the level 10 crystal behind and get out of my base, or don't blame me for being ruthless." Chenluo smirked, "So if you can't deliver on a promise, you resort to robbery? Is this how you conduct business? If word gets out, who would dare seek your services?" Chen Tianmen, not wanting to waste more words, declared, "In that case, none of you will leave here today." At his whistle, hundreds of henchmen stormed into the reception room. At that moment, Chen Tianmen smirked and said, "I know you're upset with my business, and that's why you're here, but you've messed with the wrong person today. Even if both of you are at level 7, you won't leave here alive. Let's be clear, I possess level 6 physical and fire abilities. If you're wise, hand over the crystal, and I might leave your bodies intact." Hearing this, Chenluo chuckled softly, "Since you've dropped the act, I'll be honest too. I am at level 10. The room went silent, with everyone in utter shock. Someone exclaimed, "How is that possible? He claims he's at level 10? Even our boss is equivalent to level 8. Chen Tianmen, hands on hips, mocked, "There's a limit to boasting. Level 10? Why not just say you're at the king level?" Chenluo sighed, "I came here today intending to kindly advise you to quit this business. From now on, only my Dawn City will handle it, but it seems you don't understand. In that case, you no longer have a reason to exist." No sooner had he finished speaking than the arm pointing at Chenluo dropped to the ground. Before the situation was clear, the other arm was severed by a force of space. Chenluo casually commented, "Now, how will you point your finger at my nose and scold me?" After a scream, Chen Tianmen, in disbelief, shouted at Chenluo, "Are you truly a level 10 ability user? That's impossible. You're a liar." But before he could finish, both his legs disappeared. He didn't even have a chance to scream before he collapsed. Chenluo approached him and softly asked, "Still think I'm a liar?" Jiang Wei, standing on the side, was frightened and thought, "This guy is terrifying. I didn't see him move at all. Just a glance and he took out our boss." At that moment, Chen Tianmen, having lost all reason, was still yelling, "Kill him!" To Chen Luo's surprise, there were indeed loyal followers ready to risk their lives. Without hesitation, several rushed at him. With a wave of his hand, Chen Luo sent them flying. Chen Tianmen finally realized the truth, repeating, "I can't believe he's truly level 10. Please, spare me." Ignoring him, Chen Luo turned to Jiang Wei, thinking that he might be useful. Curious about his character, he declared, "Today, only one of you two can live. I'll give you 2 minutes to decide." But who would have thought that as soon as the words left Chen Luo's mouth, Jiang Wei, without any hesitation, kicked Chen Tianmen. As he did so, he shouted, "If you want to die, die on your own. Don't drag me down with you. This gentleman kindly informed you that he's level 10, warning you not to mess around. But you just had to lead us all to death. Is this how a leader acts?" Seeing this, Chen Luo remarked, "I didn't expect Jiang Wei to be this ruthless. It seems he's the treacherous type, not to be trusted with important matters." And just like that, Jiang Wei killed Chen Tianmen on the spot, sending shivers down the spines of those present. They exclaimed at his ferocity. Immediately after, Jiang Wei bowed deeply to Chen Luo, saying, "From now on, you are my leader. If you ask me to go east, I will not go west." With that, he took the crystal from Chen Tianmen and offered it to Chen Luo as a token of his loyalty. While recognizing that Jiang Wei could be treacherous and may betray him in future endeavors, Chen Luo thought, "This young one has potential to become a king-level player. As long as he works loyally for me, I might as well keep him like a pet dog." Impressed, Chen Luo told him, "You have good judgment. Our Dawn City has established a base nearby. The person in charge there is Jin Yuanjiang. Tomorrow, take your men and report there, and parade Chen Tianmen's head through the streets while promoting my business." After saying this, he turned and left. He soon arrived at Jin Yuanjiang's base. After briefing him about Jiang Wei, Chen Luo inquired about any useful intel. Jin Yuanjiang admitted that things weren't going smoothly. There was another base, similar in scale to Dawn City, led by Yiyu, a level 9 power. Hearing this, Chen Luo immediately sank into thought. Yiyu was a renowned figure from his past life, having awakened dual abilities at level 10 and becoming the only dual ability user at the king level. Moreover, he was also a favored individual with unparalleled luck. He had stumbled upon 3 king-level crystals and countless ones at levels 9 and 10. Thinking of this, Chen Luo immediately had a sinister idea. "I want to steal the luck of the Child of Fortune. Every time he finds a king-level crystal, I'll steal it. Wouldn't I then be the most fortunate?" However, he realized that Yiyu wouldn't broadcast the fact that he found such a crystal, let alone tell him. So, Chen Luo needed an inside source close to Yiyu. Sending someone new would be suspicious, so it was better to turn someone already close to Yiyu. Quickly, Chen Luo thought of a suitable candidate. This person was not only close to Yiyu but also known to be fickle in loyalty, making them the perfect mole. With that in mind, Chen Luo decided to head to Yiyu's base. He instantly appeared at Yiyu's base using the void walking technique. There, he saw Wan Jiangui in conversation with Yiyu. Once the two separated, Chen Luo immediately used a space banish on Wan Jiangui. The next second, the unsuspecting Wan was sent flying. Chen Luo quickly grabbed his shoulder, startling Wan Jiangui, who exclaimed, "Are you human or ghost?" Wanting to keep things discreet, Chen Luo took him back to the ground. A confused Wan Jiangui was taken aback. He'd never seen a human fly before. Wondering if Chen Luo was some kind of deity, he immediately knelt and bowed, repeatedly saying, "I pay my respects to the immortal." Once he finished his greetings, a table full of delicious hot dishes appeared in front of him, further convincing him of Chen Luo's divine nature. Chen Luo then handed him a pair of chopsticks and said, "Wan Jiangui, how about you follow me from now on?" Seeing this, Wan Jiangui didn't hesitate. He picked up the chopsticks and began feasting, thinking to himself, "This definitely tastes like fresh beef. I can't be wrong." He couldn't remember the last time he had meat, let alone fresh beef. Overwhelmed by the taste, tears of joy formed in his eyes. He wondered if he was dreaming, but the sensation of the food felt all too real. After wolfing down the meal, Wan Jiangui almost burst from overeating. However, at that moment, the aroma of the food suddenly attracted a horde of zombies. Seeing this, Wan Jiangui immediately volunteered, saying, "Please wait here, immortal. I'll be right back." Hearing this, Chen Luo swiftly grabbed his wrist, stopping him. "You shouldn't exert yourself right after eating." With a casual wave of his hand, the zombies at the door were instantly killed. This scared Wan Jiangui, who exclaimed, "What kind of sorcery is this? That was way too effortless. Like swatting flies, you wiped out a horde of zombies." He then fell to his knees, shouting, "I, Wan Jiangui, am at your service. I would go through fire and water for you." Chen Luo replied, "Just stay by Yiyu's side. If he encounters anything unusual, let me know immediately." Wan Jiangui, being no fool, thought to himself, "Isn't he just asking me to be a mole? What are you up to?" Upon hearing this, Chen Luo quickly clarified, "I am not an immortal. I am just a king-level ability user. My power is equivalent to combining 100 or so Yiyus." He continued, "I'll introduce myself to you soon, and then you'll understand who I am." With that, Chen Luo gave him a level 8 crystal, promising, "Stick with me, and you'll be rewarded, and there'll always be food and drink. Just let me know what you want." Hearing this, Wan Jiangui acknowledged, "I understand what I must do." With a wave of Chen Luo's hand, Wan Jiangui was transported back to his room. him. Holding the crystal, he lamented, "I'm sorry, brother Yu. I didn't want to do this, but the immortal holds me in high regard." Following this, Qianluo confidently headed to his base to show his strength and give a demonstration of his power. Sensing hostile intent, Yu shouted, "Who approaches and what is your purpose?" Qianluo replied with a smile, "My name is Qianluo. I'm here to introduce myself. I come from Divine Capital and plan to establish a branch of our Dawn City here. I heard that Brother Yi is a promising level 9 big shot around here. I've come specifically to visit and hope we can coexist peacefully. It would be unfortunate if it came to blows between us later on." Yi wasn't a fool either. He naturally noticed that Qianluo's strength surpassed his own. Thus, he hurriedly assured Qianluo, "Brother Chen, don't worry. I promise nothing of that sort will happen. Since you're here, why not stay for a meal before you leave?" However, Qianluo immediately declined Yi's kind offer. "I have some matters to attend to, so I won't disturb you any longer." Suddenly, he lifted his left foot and exclaimed, "Why does my foot itch so much?" Then, with a powerful stomp, the ground trembled as if struck by a magnitude 12 earthquake. Some weaker members were knocked off their feet. This scared Yu considerably, thinking, "Is he even human?" While Wan Jiangui looked at Qianluo with eyes full of admiration, muttering to himself, "If he's not an immortal, then how can a simple stomp have such power?" Qianluo, with a grin, apologized, "I'm really sorry. I didn't control my strength because my foot itched. I'll send over a gift later as an apology." With that, he vanished using void walking, leaving Yu disheveled in the wind, reflecting on his earlier assumption of being invincible. The realization of even more formidable beings in the world led him to immediately instruct his subordinates to avoid conflicts with Dawn City, with the decree that violators would be executed. At that moment, Qianluo had already arrived above Mi Ling's base, intending to check on its progress. Upon his arrival, he felt exhausted and slumped onto a sofa. After all, he hadn't rested properly since returning from the Poseidon Temple. Seeing Qianluo's fatigue, Mi Ling hesitated before asking, "Do you want me to massage your shoulders?" Without any pretense, Qianluo replied, "If you're offering, I'd gladly accept." As Mi Ling massaged his shoulders, she reported the situation on her end and sought his advice on future developments. Qianluo smiled gently and said, "You have full authority here. Decide on its development as you see fit. Go ahead with confidence. No matter how it turns out, I've got your back." Mi Ling responded gratefully, "I'm afraid I might not live up to your expectations. I can't imagine the hardships my sister and I would have faced if we hadn't met you." Unexpectedly, this made Qianluo feel a bit awkward. From his past life's memories, if Mi Ling and Mi Li hadn't encountered him, they would have already become rulers of a city by now. At that moment, Qianluo suddenly noticed fruit on the table. It was a rarity from his previous life. In fact, he had narrowly avoided starvation thanks to it in his past life. Thinking of this, he immediately asked Mi Ling where it came from. Upon hearing this, Mi Ling promptly mentioned that it was found on the hill behind the base. Getting the information, Qianluo used void walking to instantly arrive at the hill. There, he quickly found the coveted mirage fruit, which was not only delicious but also had many miraculous properties. But as he approached, a vine snapped towards him. Without hesitating, he used void walking again and appeared in front of a giant tree. With a thunderous sound, he uprooted the entire mutant mirage fruit tree, turning over the surrounding soil in the process. What he hadn't expected was to discover a rat's nest underneath. The alarmed rats charged at him aggressively. Without missing a beat, Qianluo unleashed a spatial cutting technique, swiftly eliminating all the rats. In just 2 minutes, he had dealt with them all. Holding the mirage fruit tree, he happily prepared to return to the base. Unknown to him, all this was witnessed by a mother rat, whose eyes seethed with deep-seated hatred. She watched Qianluo leave, but held back from revealing herself. The next morning, Qianluo received a telepathic message from Wan Jiangui. "Your predictions are indeed accurate. You truly acquired a high-grade crystal today." Without delay, Qianluo used void walking to arrive at Wan Jiangui's base. At that moment, Yu was in high spirits, exclaiming, "We must pop open a bottle of champagne to celebrate today." Unbeknownst to him, he had already been marked by a thief. With a wave of Qianluo's hand, a skillful spatial force made a slit in Yu's pocket. A milky white crystal dropped out, and in the next second, it appeared in Qianluo's hand. Upon inspecting the crystal, Qianluo's expression darkened. He muttered to himself, "I got all excited for nothing. It's just a level 10 crystal." By now, Yu realized something was amiss. The once bulging crystal in his pocket was now gone. In shock, he shouted, "Where's my crystal? The quality of these trousers is so bad. I've only worn them for 2 days, and there's already a hole." "Wan Jiangui, let's retrace our steps and find it." Hearing this, Wan Jiangui froze, thinking to himself, the immortal's methods are truly ingenious. He stealthily took Brother Yu's crystal without anyone noticing. Wait, it's not stealing. How can it be considered stealing when an immortal takes something? Meanwhile, on the other side, a group of men was bullying a young girl named Yin Ling. She was also a spatial ability user. Her presence would forever change Qianluo's life. The leader of the group lecherously said, "It's your good fortune that I've taken a liking to you. Don't get ahead of yourself. I am a level 7 powerhouse." Saying this, one of the goons lunged at Yin Ling, but was instantly killed by her spatial cutting move. Seeing this, the lead man unleashed his powerful skill, the Ice Arrow Storm. However, Ling didn't retreat. Instead, she used her own move, spatial transfer. In a second, the man's skill was teleported right above them. Before they could react, the downpour of ice arrows caught them off guard. Though they suffered significant damage, Ling, exhausted from using so much of her ability, collapsed. Just as they were about to harm her further, a horrifying scream echoed from behind them. Turning around, they almost wet themselves in fear. A zombie heroically charged out, not only slaughtering over a dozen of the goons, but also warning the remaining ones to run if they didn't want to die. Ling, seizing the opportunity, tried to escape, but her path was blocked by an ice wall cast by the zombie. It shouted, "The rest can leave, but you, girl, you stay. Your flesh looks tender." As the zombie got closer, Ling thought she had no other option but to use a certain skill. If she couldn't shake off this zombie in 10 seconds, her life would end here. With that thought, she unleashed her trump card. The next second, the zombie's lunging arm went straight through her body. Before the zombie could figure out what happened, Ling took off in a full sprint, but the zombie pursued her relentlessly, as if madly in love, vowing not to give up until it caught her. However, after only 9 seconds, Ling, drained of all her energy, collapsed. The zombie approached her with a sinister cackle, taunting, "Run. Why aren't you running? Weren't you so good at it just now?" Just as the zombie was about to feast, a humanoid figure suddenly stepped in front of Ling. It was the dashing and suave Thunder King, also known as the Dog Elder of Dawn City. As his power grew, Thunder King's body had evolved into a humanoid form. Seeing a zombie daring to harass a woman in broad daylight, Thunder King didn't waste time talking. Without hesitation, he swiped the zombie onto the ground. After just 3 swipes, the zombie was dead. Extracting a crystal from the creature, Thunder King realized it was just an 8th level mutant, which was somewhat disappointing. However, when his gaze shifted to the girl on the ground, a painful memory from his past resurfaced in his mind. After escaping from Ling Weiwei's clutches back in the day, Thunder King was taken in by a kind-hearted elderly woman. Ling was the granddaughter of this benevolent old lady. Thunder King had spent a peaceful period of his life in the old woman's home. However, this tranquility didn't last long. The elderly lady soon succumbed to a severe illness, and Ling was taken back by her parents. Thunder King once again became a stray. Recalling this, Thunder King gently lifted Ling from the ground, whispering to himself, "I can't be wrong. She's the old lady's granddaughter. As long as there's food in my mouth, I'll ensure you never go hungry." He immediately brought Ling back to their base. After explaining everything to his master, Thunder King firmly stated that he would bear all of Ling's future expenses. Stammering slightly, Ling said, "Hello, sir. My name is Ling. I'm a level 6 spatial ability user." Hearing this, Luo was taken aback. He was all too familiar with that name. In his past life, she was a prodigious talent in spatial abilities, mastering many powerful skills, surpassing Luo in this regard. However, the Ling from his previous life was nothing like the innocent young girl before him. Her face was disfigured, and she lacked both sides of her cheeks. She was also fierce and brutal. Luo deduced that her personality change was likely due to the trauma from her disfigurement. Regardless, this young girl was a prodigious talent in spatial abilities, and she knew skills he didn't possess in his previous life. This seemed like a golden opportunity. With that thought, Luo decided to take Ling as his disciple. Without wasting any time, he grabbed Ling's wrist and used the void walking technique to soar above the base, and then swiftly return to the ground. Luo thought, "This skill was my unique move from my previous life." Ling was envious of it. "There's no way she won't want to learn it from me." Witnessing this display, Ling became deep in thought. She had always believed her spatial talent was exceptional, but in front of Luo, it seemed insignificant. "If I had mastered this technique, I wouldn't have been in such a mess just now," she pondered. Without hesitation, she knelt to the ground and exclaimed, "Disciple Ling pays respects to master." Just as Luo was reveling in the joy of acquiring Ling as his disciple, Rice suddenly rushed over, shouting, "Luo, something terrible has happened. I've foreseen that Ling is in grave danger." This startled Luo, who immediately asked Rice about the specifics. Rice replied, "I'm not entirely sure, but if you go, not only will her crisis be averted, but Ling will also reap a huge benefit." Without giving it a second thought, Luo instantly used void walking to appear above Ling's base. Sure enough, at that moment, an enemy base with over 1,000 members launched a surprise attack on Ling's base, taking advantage of the absence of many of her members who were out gathering supplies. Ling didn't hesitate. She unleashed her Red Lotus fire, which enveloped her, and charged headlong into the enemy's main forces. In that moment, Ling resembled a starving tiger tearing through a flock of sheep, casting her spells and setting ablaze everything in her path. Any enemy near her met a swift end. In no time, she decimated the invaders. This left Luo, who was observing from a hidden location, utterly speechless. He thought, how can this be considered a life-threatening situation for her? It seemed more like she single-handedly crushed an entire base. But Luo had faith in Rice's predictions, believing something else must be about to transpire. Thinking this, he used void walking to discreetly follow Ling, vowing not to let her out of his sight. Unbeknownst to him, one of the enemy had managed to escape the scene. The escapee soon located a sleazy-looking, short-statured man man named Ma Shuai, also known as the Spectre of Death. The man, seeking revenge for his fallen comrades, told Ma Shuai, "If you can help me take my revenge, I'll willingly hand over half of our base's supplies." As he spoke, he handed Ma Shuai a portrait of his enemy, but to his shock, upon seeing the portrait, Ma Shuai became livid. Without warning, he slapped the man across the face. The man, completely taken aback, tried to ask Ma Shuai for an explanation, but before he could finish his sentence, Ma Shuai slapped him again, this time shouting, "Jiang Chen, tear this worthless fool apart." The next second, the man was torn in half by a puppet standing beside Ma Shuai. Ma Shuai then lecherously stared at Mi Ling's portrait, murmuring, "It's been 5 years, but my goddess is still as beautiful as ever. Back then, I wasn't even worthy of being your lapdog, but now, I must make you my servant. You'll accompany me forever, just like Jiang Chen does. My dear, wait for me, I'm coming for you." This man was Ma Shuai, a high school classmate of Mi Ling's, and one of her many obsessive followers. When he learned that Mi Ling had established a base nearby, he immediately led his army of puppets to attack. The sentinels at Mi Ling's base were terrified and shouted, "The army of the undead is coming. Quickly, notify Sister Mi Ling." Upon hearing the news, Mi Ling rushed to the entrance. Ma Shuai, with a sleazy smile, greeted her. "Mi Ling, my dear, do you remember me? I'm Ma Shuai. We went to the same high school." Mi Ling was taken aback because she had no recollection of this Ma Shuai. She retorted, "I don't know you. Why have you brought these monstrous creatures to my base?" Infuriated, Ma Shuai shouted, "How dare you, you ungrateful woman. Soon, you'll never forget my name. Undead army, attack. Leave no one standing." Seeing the threat, Mi Ling didn't hesitate and unleashed a fire skill, obliterating the charging undead. But Ma Shuai remained unfazed, taunting, "Using such a petty trick in front of me? Jiang Chen, go and bring Mi Ling to me." Mi Ling's anger flared at his words. She summoned the red lotus fire and transformed into a firebird, charging at Jiang Chen. The moment she landed, Jiang Chen was instantly engulfed in roaring flames. After a piercing scream, the level 8 puppet was reduced to ashes by the red lotus fire. Yet Ma Shuai remained calm. With a loud chant of puppet resurrection technique, the next second saw Jiang Chen, previously burned to nothingness, reappear in front of Mi Ling. It was then that Mi Ling had a realization: to defeat the minions, one must first target the master. With that in mind, she dashed straight towards Ma Shuai. What she didn't expect was that Ma Shuai didn't retreat. Instead, he opened his arms and allowed Mi Ling to strike him down. Although Mi Ling was perplexed by this, she rejoiced when she saw him burn to nothing. However, Chen Luo, who was observing from a distance, wasn't convinced. He knew that a necromancer capable of crafting a level 8 puppet couldn't be defeated so easily. Before Mi Ling could celebrate her victory, a sleazy voice came from behind her. "They say big breasts mean no brains, and it seems they're right." She turned around to find 3 identical Ma Shuais mocking her in unison. "You got complacent after destroying one of my puppets. How does it feel to be drained after using 2 of your big moves? Jiang Chen, kill her for me. I want to make her my puppet servant." Just as he was about to reach Mi Ling, Chen Luo suddenly appeared between them using the void walking skill. He swiftly raised his right hand and delivered a powerful slap to Ma Shuai's face, sending the creepy man flying several meters away. He then helped Mi Ling up and said, "Sorry, I was late. Are you okay?" Although Chen Luo had initially wanted to let Mi Ling handle this on her own for experience, he couldn't bear to see her tormented. He coldly said, "You rest up. I can handle these clowns in 2 seconds." Unexpectedly, Mi Ling publicly declined Chen Luo's assistance, stating, "I don't want to live under your protection forever. I have one more ultimate move that I haven't used. I've been hesitant because if I don't control it well, it could backlash on me. If I fail, you can intervene then." While Chen Luo didn't want her to take this risk, Mi Ling was determined. She insisted on ending the battle with her ultimate move. With no other choice, Chen Luo reluctantly agreed. After all, a flower sheltered in a greenhouse cannot grow to its full potential. Mi Ling then waved her hand, and the bird formed from the scarlet lotus flames soared once again. What Chen Luo hadn't expected was that the fiery bird didn't target Ma Shuai or Jiang Chen. Instead, it turned and headed straight towards Mi Ling herself. This greatly alarmed Chen Luo. He thought to himself, "No wonder she said using this move might backfire. But isn't this more like self-harm than backfire?" Given the intense heat of the scarlet lotus flames, Chen Luo wasn't sure what consequences Mi Ling might face by attacking herself. This might very well be the life-threatening situation Rice had prophesied. Although Chen Luo internally debated intervening, he ultimately chose to trust Rice's words because Rice had also mentioned that as long as Chen Luo was present, Mi Ling would not only be safe but would also reap a great benefit. At this moment, Mi Ling looked calm, silently awaiting the fire's embrace. The next instant, she suddenly opened her eyes, appearing as if she had undergone rebirth in the scarlet lotus flames. The flames now seemed like a battle armor wrapping around her, revealing only her alluring face. Seeing this, Chen Luo's eyes widened in astonishment, for he was all too familiar with this form of Mi Ling. It was one of her ultimate moves from her past life, the Scarlet Lotus transformation. This was the true embodiment of the Blood Rose Spirit Flame Princess. Highlighted by the Scarlet Lotus flames, Mi Ling started to float gently. She then suddenly rushed above Ma Shuai. With a swift motion of her hand, 2 balls of Scarlet Lotus flames darted toward towards Ma Shuai like fierce dragons. This terrified Ma Shuai, who without a second thought started to flee. However, the Scarlet Lotus flames seemed sentient, relentlessly pursuing the duo. Soon, they were encircled by these two fiery dragons. It was only then that Chen Luo finally sighed in relief, thinking to himself, it seems this creep won't be escaping today. A deafening explosion followed, and the sleazy man was instantly blasted to pieces by the terrifying strike. The shockwave of the explosion also swept away the entire undead army present, but just then, Mi Ling fell from the sky, suddenly losing consciousness midair. Fortunately, Chen Luo caught her in time using a void walking, saving her from a disastrous fall. Looking at the stubborn young woman in his arms, Chen Luo couldn't help but exclaim, "You really love to push yourself too hard, don't you? I wonder if the crystal inside you is shattered." He immediately checked Mi Ling's condition. Thankfully, she was okay. She had merely fainted due to overusing her abilities. Afterward, Chen Luo, weary from the day's events, returned to Dawn City. Seeing her husband return to the base, Mi Li quickly approached and asked about her sister's condition. Chen Luo smiled slightly and replied, "She's fine now." Not only did Mi Ling survive the crisis, but she also mastered a powerful skill called Scarlet Lotus Transformation. Now, no one with abilities below level 9 can match her. Mi Li sighed with relief after hearing this. Then, she said urgently, "There are some important things I need to tell you. First, according to Rice's prophecy, many zombies will evolve to level 6 tomorrow, and some of our members were killed while out on a mission today." Chen Luo was taken aback and immediately asked, "Which base dared to harm our Dawn City members?" To which Mi Li replied, "It wasn't a base. It was a group of unaffiliated individuals. Su Dashu captured one of them and learned they've been surviving by eating rats. They resented us for our abundance and comfort, so they sought revenge." Upon hearing this, Chen Luo commented that these types of people are the most difficult to deal with because they are reckless and fear nothing. From now on, he ordered, when someone goes out on a mission, there should be at least 10 people together. This way, those unaffiliated individuals won't be a threat. Mi Li praised Chen Luo for his smart thinking. She then added, "Yin Ling told me she's located the enemies who were after her. They reside at the EU base." Hearing this, Chen Luo immediately sat upright, declaring loudly, "How dare they bully my disciple, Chen Luo's student? As her master, I must help her regain her honor. It's also a good opportunity to put the nearby EU in their place." Meanwhile, at another location, Yin Ling's enemy, Li Lian, was celebrating his birthday at his base. Yu was also invited for the feast. A curious man then remarked, "Brother Lian, I heard that a young girl recently killed several level 6 powerhouses from your base in a matter of seconds. Is that true?" Li Lian chuckled. "Indeed, it's true, but that woman is now in pieces. Her ability was indeed unique. She was a spatial type power user. She had a signature move called Spatial Slash that could kill anyone below level 7 instantly. It's as if with just a glance, the person would be dismembered, but I'm at level 7, so her technique has no effect on me." Upon hearing this, Yellow Hair quickly replied, "That explains a lot. I once saw Chen Luo use this technique in Divine Capital. He killed a level 6 powerhouse with just a look, which made him famous there. So, this move only works on those below level 7. I need to return to Divine Capital and expose him." Suddenly, a shout came from outside, "Brother Lian, someone has breached our base." Peering closer, they saw Chen Luo and Yin Ling strolling in. Chen Luo shouted, "Who was the blind fool that bullied my disciple? Step forward, or face my wrath." Pointing to the people above, Yin Ling angrily said, "Master, it was them who wanted to kill me." Chen Luo responded, "I won't bully you all." But before he could finish, Yellow Hair interrupted with a mocking grin. "Oh, isn't this the great leader of Dawn City? Chen, we've just uncovered the trick behind your gaze kill technique. It's called Spatial Slash, right? It only works on those below level 7, doesn't it? I'm going back to Divine Capital tomorrow to expose your scam. I'm already at level 7. What can you do to me?" However, before Yellow Hair could finish his taunts, a spatial force sliced off half of his head, followed swiftly by one of his arms. Chen Luo coldly retorted, "Do you still think I'm a fraud now?" In agony and disbelief, Yellow Hair screamed at Li Lian, "Didn't you say Spatial Slash wouldn't work on level 7 users? You've killed me." No sooner had he spoken than Chen Luo used his Spatial Slash to decapitate Yellow Hair. With a smirk, he said, "I, Chen Luo, am not unreasonable. The two who tried to assassinate my disciple must die today. Those uninvolved can be spared." However, a voice suddenly came from behind Li Lian. "It was you, Brother Chen. Long time no see. My friends truly didn't know Yin Ling was your disciple. Ignorance should be pardoned. Besides, your disciple is unharmed. Can you give me face and spare them?" Chen Luo replied with a faint smile. "By the sound of it, Brother Yi, you want to protect these two?" Instead of answering directly, Yi took out a level 7 spatial crystal and said, "Let bygones be bygones. Consider this crystal as compensation." Chen Luo instantly realized that Yi was trying to win him over. Even though he accepted the crystal, he didn't really give Yi face, as that would undermine his own authority. Seeing this, Yi hastily added, "If they ever offend you again, you won't need to lift a finger. I'll deal with them myself." But Chen Luo wasn't impressed, asserting, "No one who has ever offended me lived to tell the tale, including you, Yi. If you dare cross me, you'll meet the same fate as them." With a wave of his hand, the two culprits were instantly cut cut into 8 pieces by his spatial slash. After doing so, he coldly added, "If anyone can withstand the retaliation of a level 10 power user, feel free to conspire against me behind my back. Yu, come talk about face when you reach level 10. This infuriated Yu. He muttered to himself, "Damn you, Chenluo, your arrogance won't last long. When the mutant I've been nurturing dies, that'll be the day I end you." It turns out, 2.5 days earlier, Yu had encountered a king-level mutant in the wild. Desperate to obtain its crystal by causing its death, Yu shockingly knelt before the mutant, pledging allegiance and promising to provide it with fresh prey daily. Meanwhile, elsewhere, shortly after leaving Li Liang's base, Chenluo ran into Wan Jiangui, who had been waiting for him. Wan Jiangui excitedly reported, "Master Chen, there's significant news. Yu has found another king-level mutant and has kept it in the woods near our base. Currently, Yu only trusts me and Gao Yiheng, so he's planning to take us with him tomorrow to feed the creature. Master, what should be my next move?" Chenluo replied with a faint smile, "Well done, Wan Jiangui. You've made a significant contribution. Once this matter is resolved, you'll be handsomely rewarded. Tomorrow, when you go to feed the creature, use telepathy to notify me." The next morning, as Yu led Wan Jiangui and others to feed the mutant, Wan Jiangui secretly informed Chenluo of their location. However, as soon as he arrived, the king-level mutant sensed something amiss. With a swift movement, it aimed a palm strike at where Chenluo was hiding, shouting, "Who's skulking around there? Show yourself." Chenluo brazenly replied, "What a coincidence, Brother Yi. I never expected to bump into you during a stroll. How could you associate with a creature like this? Is this beast blackmailing you? Don't worry, I'm here to help eliminate it." "Then please, Master Chen." He then whispered to himself, "This guy is only level 10, and he dares to brag about defeating a king-level mutant? My luck knows no bounds." Wasting no time, Chenluo used void walking to teleport behind the mutant, raising his void sword to decapitate it. Unexpectedly, the mutant reacted with lightning speed. It employed an earth stomp technique, thwarting Chenluo's surprise attack. The mutant then swung its claws at Chenluo. Fortunately, due to Chenluo's agility, he narrowly evaded the blow. He silently thought to himself, "Had I not possessed near king-level strength, I would have been finished just now. This king-level mutant is truly formidable." The mutant summoned 3 earth elemental giants to attack Chenluo. Fortunately, these mud figures were no match for him. After attacking Chenluo continuously for 2 minutes, they couldn't even touch a single hair on his head. Witnessing this, the bystanders were utterly astonished, exclaiming, "Is Chenluo really this powerful? Is he truly just a level 10 superpower?" Only Wan Jiangui remained calm, thinking, "It's no surprise, given that he's like an immortal. How could a mere mutant be a match for Master Chen?" This utterly infuriated the king-level mutant, who shouted, "Arrogant child, I'll tear you to pieces." With that, it unleashed a move called Dynamic Light Wave. Unexpectedly, Chenluo was caught off guard and was directly hit in the heart by this terrifying attack. He then plummeted from the sky and crashed into the ground. Seeing this, Yu feigned concern and shouted, "Brother Chen, are you alright? Why were you so reckless?" But before he could finish his sentence, Chenluo quickly got up and cheekily flashed a scissors gesture at him. With a playful tone, he said, "Brother Yi, how's my acting? I was just messing with this mutant." He then changed his tone, "I've already given you a chance. If you can't take it, it's not my fault. Do you want to learn about a one-way ticket to hell?" Hearing this, the mutant was utterly shattered, repeatedly muttering, "This can't be. How can someone survive after taking my most powerful attack?" Before Chenluo could even accelerate time to affect the mutant, the creature coincidentally met its end. This scared Yu, who thought to himself, "This mutant's timing of death couldn't be worse. Who does the crystal belong to now?" At that moment, Yu felt a deep sense of regret. The king-level mutant he had discovered ended up benefiting someone else. Wan Jiangui, always observant, noticed Yu's desire for the crystal and his hesitance to speak up in front of Chenluo. Seeing an opportunity to assert himself, he immediately pointed at Chenluo and shouted, "Listen here, kid. My big brother was the first to discover this mutant. The crystal rightfully belongs to him. Don't force me to take action against you." Hearing Wan Jiangui's words, Yu was deeply moved. He thought to himself, "Wan Jiangui, you truly are my loyal brother." However, what they didn't expect was that, upon hearing this, Chenluo didn't attack. Instead, he generously stated, "I, Chenluo, am not an unreasonable person. Since you found the mutant first, you can extract the crystal, but I'll only give you 10 seconds. Hearing this, Yu didn't hesitate. He immediately conjured a superpowered blade and approached the mutant. He fiercely struck the mutant's forehead multiple times, but to his surprise, after more than 10 strikes with all his might, he couldn't even scratch the mutant's scalp. This amused Chenluo greatly, who thought, "A level 9 like you trying to open the head of a king-level mutant without at least 3 to 5 minutes? It's impossible." Chenluo then laughed, "Brother Yi, you've been at it for almost a minute. Isn't it my turn now?" With that, he conjured his void sword. He skillfully extracted a king-level crystal from the mutant's head. Patting Yu on the shoulder, he said, "Brother Yi, you can't blame me for this. I gave you a chance, but you couldn't seize it. So, until we meet again." Hearing this, Yu was so furious that he sat down hard on the ground, shouting, "Chenluo, I swear I'll make you pay double for this in the future." Seeing this, his 2 subordinates hurriedly helped him up. At that moment, Gao Yiheng gravely said, "Boss, I don't think Chenluo had any ill intention intentions. He even let you extract the crystal first. I believe there's no need to see him as an enemy. Upon hearing this, Yu quickly responded, do you think his sudden appearance here was a coincidence? If I remember correctly, before he arrived, you had an excuse to leave for a while, didn't you? Gao Ying hastily explained that he had an upset stomach, asking, boss, you can't possibly think that I'm a mole who informed Chenluo, can you? Wang Jiangue also quickly jumped in, saying, I believe Gao isn't that kind of person. Could there be some misunderstanding here? Upon hearing this, Yu immediately said, Wang Jiangue, some people can be known by their appearance, but not by their heart. Never be deceived by their exterior. He stole my crystal, and you tell me not to consider him an enemy? What benefits has Chenluo given you? You're a treacherous traitor. At this point, Gao Ying realized that once trust is broken, no matter how much he tried to explain, it would be seen as a mere excuse in Yu's eyes. Thus, he chose to remain silent. Seeing Gao Ying's silence, Yu slapped him on the forehead, shouting, so you have nothing to say now that I've exposed you? Wang Jiangue, watching from the side, was quite alarmed. He thought to himself, thank goodness Yu brought two of us along this trip. Otherwise, I'd definitely be dead. In the future, I must be more cautious in my actions. I'm sorry, Gao. You took the blame for me. Little did they know, Chenluo hadn't left at all. He was observing everything from the shadows. After the two left, Chenluo used void walking to approach Gao Ying. He whispered, I'm sorry, my friend. In your past life, you were a loyal king-level warrior, devoted to Yu, and you fought to your death without leaving his side. Because of my presence, you died. Rest assured, I'll give you a proper burial. But as he was speaking, Chenluo suddenly noticed a slight movement in Gao Ying's fingers. Meanwhile, on the other side, Yu suddenly remembered that he had forgotten to extract Gao Ying's crystal. Even though a level 7 crystal is of no use to me, it would be useful for Wang Jiangue. Let's hurry back. As they turned back, they happened to witness Chenluo carrying away Gao Ying's body. This scene further confirmed Yu's suspicions. Indeed, Gao Ying must have been working for Chenluo. Otherwise, why would Chenluo come back to take his body? At this moment, Chenluo had already brought Gao Ying back to his base. As soon as they entered, Chenluo ordered the Light faction to spare no effort in saving Gao Ying. 2 hours later, Gao Ying slowly opened his eyes and looked at Chenluo by his bedside. He quickly asked, we have no relation. Why did you save me? Chenluo earnestly began to weave a tale. You were lucky to meet me. When I saw you still had a breath left, I couldn't bear to see you take your crystal. So, I took you away from him. Whether you believe it or not, everything I do is to ensure the survival of humanity in this apocalypse. Now, you have two choices. The first is to join my Dawn City. You can observe my actions, and then decide whether you want to join us. The second choice is to pretend I never saved you and end it all yourself. Think it over, and when you've decided, come find me. With that, Chenluo turned and left. Immediately after, he eagerly returned to his room to absorb the king-level crystal he had just obtained. He needed to quickly advance to the king level to face Poseidon. The longer he waited, the more king-level creatures would emerge in the sea. By then, dealing with Poseidon would not be so simple. Moreover, he planned to nominate the Sea Princess as the new Poseidon to realize his tripartite plan. Currently, he was the leader of the strongest human base. Big Strong led the most potent zombie base, and only the marine domain was left. So, you had to work hard for humanity. Chenluo thought, when I can reach the king level depends on you. But at that moment, Gao Ying suddenly sought out Chenluo and said, Brother Chen, I've made up my mind. After this incident, I've seen you use true colors. My life was saved by you. From now on, I will follow you loyally. Hearing this, Chenluo gave a slight smile and said, you'll be proud of the choice you made today. Rest up and recover first. In a few days, I'll have someone brief you on the rules of our base. With the matter of Gao Ying settled, Chenluo decided to scout Poseidon's palace and fetch some seafood for Thunder King on the side. They were almost out of the mackerel from last time. Without hesitation, he used void walking to arrive at Poseidon's palace. However, he didn't spot Poseidon. Regardless of Poseidon's whereabouts, his primary goal was the seafood. Not wasting any time, he quickly chose a 2-ton orca, thinking to himself, this should be enough for Thunder King for a while. He then unleashed a dimensional blade skill. Before the orca could react, it was instantly killed by Chenluo, who subsequently retrieved its crystal and stored its body in his dimensional space. The scene terrified the surrounding sea creatures, who exclaimed in horror, he's terrifying. He took down a level 10 orca instantly. Chenluo coldly declared, all you sea creatures listen up. Anyone who continues to follow by Hao and causes trouble, I'll kill on sight. If you don't want to die, you can join me. Hearing this, the sea creatures scattered in fear. Roughly 2 hours later, Bai Hao finally returned to Poseidon's palace. The sea creatures immediately informed him, Lord Poseidon, you're finally back. While you were away, that Chenluo attacked our palace again. He killed one of our brothers and threatened that if we continue to follow you, he'll wipe us all out. This enraged Bai Hao, who shouted, has that brat lost his mind? I haven't even settled the score with him, and he's already provoking me? This time, whether he hides at the ends of the earth or the deepest corners of the sea, I'll find him and tear him to pieces.